September 19th, Skeptical Punk, out now. Let's do this.
Why are you laughing? You have any tokens for the machine down the street? Welcome to the Why You Laughing podcast.
Boom. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the pod. I know it's been a while. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. The song you just heard is called Mirror. It is the first song on my new EP, which is called Skeptical Punk, which is out now on every platform: Spotify, YouTube, Google, Apple, anything that you can find music on, it's there. So go type it in at the Clappinator, Skeptical Punk, right now. It is out. It popped just like that can August 30th. Yeah, the 30th it came out officially on YouTube, I believe. And it was funny because it's just like when you sign up for Discord, or not Discord, excuse me. Discord's a great platform as well. But when you sign up for DistroKid, shout out to those guys, they have tools to put your music on every platform. The only thing is like I didn't sign up for the exclusive package, which is like you can kind of set your dates, because I don't really think that matters too much, in my opinion. But the cool thing is that, you know, they just put it out at every single platform. I think I've talked about it on here before. Oh no, sorry folks. Ooh. Anyway, so yeah, it popped on YouTube on the 30th, and it was so great. I got a lot of great feedback. I had such a fun time doing this project, and it meant a lot to me. You know, it was like I guess maybe I had something to prove to myself, which was that I could still do it, that I could still sit back and write something that was meaningful to me, that I had more stories to tell, that I had more experience to do this, and it was just so much fun. And there was no time limit on the thing. I had no expectations, and it was a lot of fun. So whoever tuned in and gave it a listen, I appreciate it. Much obliged. I really got the bug back, you know, the bug of like, I want to write again, I want to record again, I want to do so many more things, and I just had a good time. I had a good time in all aspects of this project, because, you know, when I feel rushed, it's so different. It's so, you know, I get more anxious about how things are going to sound, and, you know, what people are going to think if it's bad, and, you know, but this time I really took into consideration recording time and, you know, production, because I wrote, produced, recorded, and put it out all on my own, you know, with every single tool in my toolbox. That's percussion, that's guitars, that's amps, that's synthesizers, that's soundscapes, you know. Everything that I had learned, it came out on all through GarageBand. Shout out to those guys. Which is great because it's a free platform and anybody can do it. That's the thing that I think people miss the mark on entirely, which is you don't need all these programs, which in and of itself, they're not bad, but they don't really, you know, give you the push to want to do it. They give you the tools that you need, and, you know, better quality, which I feel, if you're talking about quality in that circumstance, I think that you can do that all on your own. The only thing you need is a good mic. And I've had this Yeti for since I started the podcast 4 years ago, basically. This upcoming January is going to be 5 years that we've been doing this show. Obviously, you guys have noticed that it's not as consistent, which is on my end, and also on Spotify for podcasters end, because they, as I told you guys in the last episode, they took away that avenue of recording through them, which is why this is basically on YouTube now. And if I can figure out how to get the podcast back on Spotify and Apple, I will, of course, let you guys know what's going on. It hasn't been lost on me that I've been losing interest in doing the podcast, and it's not because I don't want to do it. I think maybe it's just because, first of all, work with both of my jobs has been very, very busy lately. I've been going in earlier and earlier at UPS. Our volume for packages is just astronomical. My pharmacy job, we just picked up a couple more facilities and patients to deliver to, which is my job. So it's just like I've been getting out after 5 exhausted. Like I've been coming home from UPS exhausted. So I would take like 2-3 hour naps, get up, eat something, and then go straight to the second job. And then as soon as I got out of there, I would come home and record or write or do whatever I had to do. So I apologize for that. I really would like to get this thing professionalized. Like I want to get more cameras in. I want to get guests in here. I really want to make this a professional atmosphere. But that requires cash. So as soon as I get my debt paid off, I'm going to start really getting into more scheduled podcasts. I'm going to try to get guests in here, which is very tough. But I'm going to try to do it. So we'll see. Other than that, things going on. I would like to do a little mini tour. You know, next year I'm going to have my 10-year anniversary at UPS. And I really would like to get, if I could, I'd like to take 2 weeks off and just tour. I would love to just go to different places throughout the country and, you know, call up local places and start in New England and go from there. You know, maybe get some shows down south, obviously. I've never played Carolina. I would love to play Carolina. It's a cool spot, and I got some people to visit there as it is. So if I can get down there, that would be spectacular. And a few other places, obviously. You know, we're going to look around and see what open mics or what places are available. So that is kind of a side project and a plan in the works. Other than that, I just have had the recording bug, really. I've been wanting to play and write more, and I've already started writing more. You know, I got new riffs, I have more lyrics, I got stuff that I'm really working on. But the next album I do would be, again, that's what it is. It's going to be an album. Maybe like a 10, 12 song project, which would be a lot of fun for me. But I want to do it in a studio, and I want to do it with my friend Wes from Hug the Dog, who I am going to have on this podcast, and I've chatted with him. He's going to come on. Local New England legend. Those guys are royalty when it comes to songwriting and playing and venue, all that stuff. They're just very, very great. And Wes is a great guy. And he's got a really nice studio at his house and wants to work with me. So that could be the next project. So we're doing a lot of talking, and we've been friends for a while. We've opened for each other a handful of times, and we dig each other's company. So we're going to try to do that sort of project. I think a lot of times with podcasting and music, and like any musician or podcaster, comedian, poet, whatever you guys want to call it, a lot of these guys who have a lot of talent, and I don't even want to be presumptuous and say that I have talent, because there are 10,000 million other people than me that have more talent in their fingers than I do. But any person who has a passion for writing or those types of projects, they tend to get in their own head. And, you know, me being sober this month, I've had a lot more time to think. I've had a lot more time to discover new things about myself. And, you know, obviously there's a little bit more time on my hands. But I discovered that I have been more happy. Like, I'm happier with what I'm doing lately. I'm very happy with the way things are going. I'm happy that I was able to get this project out and into the world within, I want to say, like, I can't even remember. I'd have to go back in my memory bank on my phone to see when I started even recording or doing this project. But when I announced it, I think it was probably 4 months ago. And to put something together in that amount of time was just fantastic. And that includes writing and just arrangements of songs. And it really meant a lot to me that I still had something left in the tank. I think a lot of time and energy went into Soda throughout those years that we were recording and, you know, touring or whatever you want to call it, just playing shows constantly. So I wasn't really getting a lot of time to write. A lot of stuff had been pre-written before we were going in to record that new album. So this time, doing it in my apartment and using every tool at my disposal was, it wasn't too much of a challenge. It was really more of a pleasure to discover how to do things correctly, how to do things the way that I felt it should be done. And again, no time limit. That's the thing, is like, if you have a set date, then it's more anxiety and a struggle for guys to get product out and to get, I don't want to say a polished product, but to get a more sincere product out. That's a tough challenge. So, you know, having it be an option to basically do whatever I feel, or record whenever I feel I have time and motivation to do it, that was the beautiful part about this project. It wasn't the fact that I had new music. Like, that was a great stance, I suppose. Like, that was a great avenue, like, that I had more things to say and different stories to tell. But just the fact that I had the time to work on it and I didn't get bothered, you know, there was nobody over my shoulder doing the work for me. It was just me figuring out what I thought was cool and what made it a great, fun challenge. Because you have challenges, you have different types of challenges that are going to stress you out, and challenges that are going to make you think and make you work harder. This one, I have not worked harder on a project in a long time, and I haven't had as much fun recording in a long time, except for when it came to this one. You know, especially like going out and taking all my own artwork pictures and setting up text on the cover and stuff like that. I really would. My biggest dream would be to get every project that I have on vinyl, which would be like singles and EPs and, you know, eventually the record. And I will say, I already have a name for this record, this upcoming record that I want to record. I already have a single picked out. It's the first song that I've ever written and finished on piano. So that's going to be crazy. And I think you guys are really going to dig where I'm coming from on this next one. Because it's a lot of admiration. It's a lot of, like, you know, I think a lot of times people confuse maybe my music maybe a little bit with my friend Abram, who, it stinks because he's such a brilliant person that I think a lot of people miss where his music comes from and where his talent comes from when you hear the sounds. You know, a lot of guys listen to music and go, oh, he's depressed, or he's this, or he's that. And I'm not saying Abrams specifically, but like a lot of guys who get down into the meat of songs, it may come off as, oh, this guy has a problem. And it's not the case. Sometimes it just is a story that needs to be told and to get out of the way. Whereas, you know, I think with this record specifically that I'm writing, it's going to be, it's exciting, you know, and I'm stoked. And I'm hopefully going to have every tool possible. I want to get some features on there, you know. I'm hoping to get George and Corey back into the studio with me, and it would be sick to record a song with them. They've already wanted to get into the studio anyway, and just the three of us to get back and jam would be great, you know, because they are going to do a little stint on the documentary, which is an honor for me, because this project, the documentary, is almost done. And I think by the time the doc is done, I'll be in the studio, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Obviously, there's, again, no time limit. I've discovered that is literally one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle when it comes to recording and getting your art out there, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to comfortability of writing and, you know, just the whole feel of it. So that's great. And I should explain the record, Skeptical Punk. I came to that conclusion for the title on the EP just because of where I am in life. You know, I'm not, I think a lot of bands and a lot of artists have this inner struggle of like, okay, we've been doing it this way for so long. You know, I think recently in an interview, I don't listen to these guys because it's just like, it's not really my type of thing. But the All-American Rejects at one point in time, right around 2004, were huge. Those guys took over the radio. And everyone knew those songs. Everybody on my bus and in like my classes, and it was just like, it was music for, you know, the younger 2000s generation. And recently, you know, they haven't released a record in like, I want to say 12 years, 13 years, something like that, some crazy number. And they're talking about going into the studio. But one of the struggles that they were talking about was that they don't want to record songs for high schoolers anymore, or for, you know, angst and rebellion, or they want to record what is going on with them in their life right now. And I identified with that personally with this record because I still love punk rock music. It's my bread and butter. It's where I came from. And not only that, but it needed to be molded into who I am now as a writer. So getting into a recording mode and writing mode, I really wanted to tell stories that meant something to me now. And, you know, I'm nearly a 29-year-old man, and getting to share those things after all these years with you guys was quite the perspective for me. You know, telling these stories that I've never spoken about was, it was a good chapter to close. You know, it was a good milestone in my writing, I think. Because it talks about a lot of serious topics. It talks about dealing with friends passing. It talks about trying to pick up the pieces after your early 20s, which if you talk to anybody right now in 2024 that's trying to survive, that's a big deal. It talks about mental health. It also deals with things like the last song, Before We're Gone. That is just a pile of nonsense that came about in my kitchen. Just a bunch of lyrics that maybe didn't make sense, but still gravitated towards the fact that I have a childlike heart, I suppose. And things that have just been sort of mulling around in my brain where I was ready to talk about, and I was ready to attack it from all avenues. That first song, Mirror, that you guys heard in the intro, you know, I've never written anything like that before. I've never written an intro song to a record or an EP that was so big for me. And it was big because it's like, it was very Floyd, it was very deep, but it's also, you know, reminding myself of why I'm still doing it. Yes, I'm older, but I'm never going to forget where I came from. I'm never going to miss that piece of why I started playing music in the first place and why it still means so much to me. Because it does. And I haven't felt this way in years. I haven't felt this happy. I haven't felt this determined to not let things beat me as far as like maybe mental health goes and negative thoughts and bad experiences and losing people in death and, you know, people just walk away. You know, I tackle a lot of those things in this record. So for me, that's like, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than coping with that with like musical therapy, which is so real. You know, I would be willing to bet, like, if you went to Berklee School of Music, which is, I believe, is up north, they go through a lot of that, I would bet. You know, not only like music theory and where it came from, but like how it can actually help you to take more steps in your life to figure things out. Which is what this podcast has done for me. It's what music has done for me. And, you know, I got to thank God, because I would not be here if I didn't have something to believe in. You know, and if I didn't believe in myself. So having that knowledge and going into this record with all these new avenues of a smaller but more intimate adventure, it's been great. It's been so great, and I've had a blast. I've had a blast recording. Yeah, it's just been so much fun. So go check it out if you guys get the chance. A new update on the documentary. I've been talking with Cal so much lately. I've been sending him videos back and forth. I'm hoping to get him back on the podcast to chit chat with him and just to have him on again, because he's a great friend and a good guy. And we're close. We're close, guys. You know, probably I'll do my closing comments and, you know, a little bit more filming. And we're gonna be in the editing process. Which my one stipulation for this project was, if I was gonna do it, I wanted it to be all my music. And it's not because I'm selfish. It's just because I wanted it to come from a place of authenticity. I don't need to phone anybody else in on my story. And it's not meant to sound selfish. It's not even meant to sound prestigious or like I'm better than anybody or anything, because I'm not. I just want it to tell my side of the story of where I am and how all this came about. And that's what Cal's helping me with, and vice versa. So I'm hoping that he can, after this documentary comes out, I'm hoping that it'll push other people towards his vision of what cool projects can be. So we're working on that. And that's going to be a milestone for me, because this year was 20 years that I've been on stage. Like, I'm going down south. I don't know when the show is. I'll let you guys know. I'm going down south to play another live show for, like, it's going to be probably 200-300 people. You know, the last time I went down for Lena Palooza or whatever Palooza it is, I can't remember the name of it, but shout out to Mary who puts it on. She's great. The last time I played the show, it was just fantastic. We had such a blast. And that's going to be a milestone, because I haven't played in front of a crowd like that in a while. But Clearwater is not ready for the heat. The heat, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Anyway, I got covers I'm playing. I got new covers I'm playing. I got new songs I'm going to be playing. I've already recorded a few new songs and put one of them out on YouTube called Open Doors, which is on Skeptical Punk. And that was the first song that I've ever recorded and released in a different tuning, in drop D. So that was a new adventure for me. But other than that, I really, really want to focus on getting back to podcasting and getting more content out for you guys that way. And that comes with guests and, a lot of other things. So I'm hoping. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot going on. It's kind of nice that we get a little bit of free time now. I get a little bit of time to recoup from what's been going on with me work-wise and, recovering from not drinking, obviously, and getting everything back to normal. I really have been enjoying September. September has been a lot of fun. I guess the sadder note is that I really am having a tough time getting some motivation to do the show. So, unfortunately, I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 episodes a month. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it has to go with guests and stuff. And I just want the best content to be out there. I don't want to just record to record. So I appreciate you guys understanding. I appreciate this platform. It's been so much fun doing this. And I thank you for tuning in again. And this is still, I love doing it. I love putting my passion into something I love. It got me through COVID. It's gotten me through some tough spots in life, and it's been a great promoter for shows. I got no dates coming up, not yet as of yet, but I could be popping into. I definitely am. Actually, I lied to you. There is a possible show in October coming up at Rustic Brewing Company in Springfield. Go check it out online, Rustic Brewing. Todd and Lost in Transit, they're going to be putting that show together. So we're getting some great acts together. I'll let you guys know what's going on. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a Why You Laughing podcast. Skeptical Punk out now. Check it out. This has been a Why You Laughing podcast, and we are clear.